Hello, Yuba City. This is GiGi CAPONE. You are now tuned in to the Business Report, and we've come to our section of the show where we have our guest interview. And today's guest interview is hailing in all the way from Australia, underground MC and hip-hop legend, Big Dave. Big Dave, I want to thank you for blessing me with an interview, and also shout out to John Payne for making the connection with us possible.
Oh, yeah, how you going, Yuba City? It's Big Dave, all the way from down under.
Big Dave is chiming in from Australia, and it's on the complete opposite side of the world, so we really had to work on our time zones here. I really wanted to pop an interview out at, 10 o'clock in the morning, and he was like, yeah, great, we can do it, but it's like 4:30 in the morning here.
Yeah, a little bit early for me. I'm either coming home or going to bed about that time.
Man, you were ready to make it happen, though. That's what counts. Big Dave has toured and performed on stage with the likes of not a ton of A-listers, but just the A-listers that he's doing it with: Ice Cube, D12, Tech 9, Exhibit, Bone Thugs and Harmony, Corrupt, Obi Trice, KRS-One, De La Soul, you name it. You've been putting in a lot of work since you first started dropping hip-hop.
Yeah, I've been really lucky with the live shows. You know, I started off in the battle scene and just sort of open mics, and then started getting. I got booked for De La Soul first, and then it just sort of went from there. I've been lucky to perform with some people I'm a real big fan of, you know.
Oh, let's take it back. How did you first become involved with hip-hop music in the battles?
In the battles, when I first got out of, it's going to sound bad, but when I first got out of prison, I wanted to start getting into the hip-hop scene, and I couldn't get booked for a show, but you can always get a battle, you know what I mean? You can always put your hand up for a battle, so started doing the battle thing and, trying to make a name for myself that way.
So what's up with that? You went to the Pokey. You got out the Pokey and you said, okay, I'm going to make music. How does that work?
Well, I was a hip-hop fan before I went inside, and I had a lot of time on my hands in the opposite. And so, I was listening to a lot of hip-hop, and I thought, why not try to write a few tracks? Wrote some lyrics, and met some other MCs inside, and there was some ciphers going on in the yard, some battles going on in the yard, so started getting involved with that, and helped kill the time at the time, and then thought maybe I could make something out of it when I got out.
Has your experience in prison inspired the music that you write now?
Parts of it. I take inspiration from all my life, and that was a big part of it. There was some hard times that I went through, so there's certain songs and stuff that I have drawn influence from that revolve around my prison time.
So what made you want to start a label versus focusing solely on your career?
Couldn't get a deal. I was sending out demos and, trying to bang down on the label doors. And this was when hip-hop in Australia was really young, We were a little bit, our scene's a bit behind you guys, bands for a long time before we started doing our own thing. And so I'm sending out demos and get a deal. And I thought, well, I've got to take it in my own hands and set something up myself. So it's basically a way to get my own music out there. So I guess it was aimed at my career at first, and it just sort of grew from there.
How many artists are under your label right now?
Including me, we've got 9 artists now. We've got a producer, R&B singer, and the rest of 7 MCs.
How do you separate being the CEO from being the artist?
It's very difficult. The first part, the label's, I think, 6 years old now, and for years, my own career sort of got put on the back burner while I was trying to promote the other artists and, stage shows for the label and get our own name out there as a group. So it's really difficult. Sort of in the last 6 or 8 months that I've decided to actually focus a chunk of time on my career, and that's, how I got the first album and stuff like that.
Okay, so tell us about your upcoming release, The Original, featuring Snoop Dogg. Wow, how did that happen?
Man, that's just like a dream come true for me, GiGi. I was working with a producer from over your way, actually, from over in New York, and we worked together for 5 years or so. And after my last single release, I really noticed how competitive the environment's becoming over here in Australia. There's a lot of MCs coming up every month. There's a new one. And I said to him, I need to do something really big to make my name. And he turned around and said, hey, I can probably get Snoop Dogg on a track for you. And at the time, I wanted to believe it was true, but, because I've been a big fan of Snoop for a long time, but I kind of thought, this might be a bit, just a bit of a pipe dream, but sent it through a few instrumentals, and sounds like one, doesn't it? And yes, sent it through a few instrumentals, and Snoop picked one and ended up sending back a track with some vocals on it, and we took it from there and completed the track, the original. It's basically a track about doing you on a song and, being yourself, and that's how you stand out from the crowd, being the original.
How do you feel about Snoop's transition into Snoop Lion?
I think, he's done everything in hip-hop. He's been on top. He's had his unique style. He's done gangster rap, pop rap, everything in between. And I think it's interesting and exciting. I'll have to hear the album first before I can make a judgment on the music. What I've heard so far, there's a couple of tracks there.
So you do a lot of exciting stuff. You have a label. You've got this hot new single getting ready to drop. But ironically, you also co-host and part-time produce a radio show called Jailbreak Radio.
Yeah.
That's a mighty cocky show name coming from a gentleman like you who's had a visit to Hotel Pokey himself.
Yeah, it is. The Jailbreak, it's a Sydney-based show based in Sydney, Australia. That's it sort of targets. It's designed for inmates and families of inmates to keep them in touch with what's going on in the prisons and stuff like that. And so when I first got out, I got in touch with them. And they were interested in my story and asked me to come on as a guest a couple of times, and I did that. And from there, they asked if I'd like to host some shows. And for about 3 years, I was using it as a forum to voice issues for people inside.
Did you use the radio show as a way to propel your music?
I did. That was the lucky bonus of it. Yeah. The show went national. It was Sydney-based and ended up going national, and it gave me a really good platform to put my music out. And so I'd do a half-an-hour episode probably every 2 or 4 weeks, and it gave me a chance to play my new tracks and tracks from artists from my label. So it sure did.
Oh, that's hot. I like it. I'm gonna have to tune in and listen to you on the other end of the mic.
Yeah, I'll send you a couple of links to listen to a couple of shows.
That sounds good. Let's talk tours. Where all have you been touring?
I've done all over Australia. I've done most states, all the capital cities, a lot of regional dates as well. Nothing outside of Australia yet, but hopefully one day. But at the moment we're looking, doing the capitals here.
All right. Do you have any upcoming shows that listeners might be able to pop in on if they're in Australia for their vacation this summer?
Yeah, if you're tuning in, if you're planning on coming to Australia, we're actually doing a national tour to promote the original track. We're doing a full media promotional tour. We'll be hitting a lot of major nightclubs in the capital cities. We're sort of locking those dates in now. It'll probably be 6 weeks from now, maybe 8 weeks from now.
All right. So where can everybody keep up with you online so that they can stay up to date with all this information?
We've got our website. That's cockyprick.com, KOKYPRIK.com.
I love it.
I got my promo game on. Or you can.
I knew you were a cocky prick.
Goes with the whole theme. Or you can follow me at facebook.com/BigDaveKP.
All right. And is there anything else that you want to share with our listeners that we haven't covered so far in this interview? I know that we're running through this kind of quickly, and I'd really like to sit down and squeeze in like a half hour, but unfortunately our fans are going to be down the doors if we don't get to the music.
Yeah, no worries. We'll have to play the original there. But, I've got my album coming out the same day, the 6th, October 4th. The album's called Self-Made. We've also got some other guests from the States on it. We've got Joel Ortiz, Dub C, Corrupt, Necro.
What?
Yeah.
You're representing.
I have been busy. We've got a cool track on there called Can't Hold Me with Necro and Dub C, so sort of New York and LA meets with Canberra, which is my home city. So we've got, keep your ears out for that. You can get that on iTunes in the States. It won't be on CD in the States yet. Our distribution's sort of localised to Australia, but You can get it on iTunes.
Well, we're going to have to check that out and make sure we stay updated on everything Big Dave. Now, before we started this interview, I told you I had one question that wasn't on our list that I wanted to cover, right?
Yeah, I've been worried about this one.
So, why do they call you Big Dave?
To be honest, I'd like to say there's a couple of good answers I could come up with, but to be truthful, it was just around my local area. They used to just call me Big Dave. Just the crazy moves I used to pull was Big Dave. He's doing another crazy thing.
I'm very sure that's the short answer, right?
That's the short answer. Yeah.
All right, Yuba City. Without further ado, we're going to get into this brand new track by Big Dave featuring Snoop Dogg, the original.